Hello everyone, welcome to the course requirements and due dates. I used to do this during class. I would sit up there and go over the course requirements, and you would all sit there with glazed eyes, having no clue what I was talking about, and all of it meaning nothing. So what I decided to do, rather than waste your time in class and mine, that I will record this in a video so you will know what your requirements are. You can go back and watch this video whenever you want. I will upload it to my YouTube, my 603 YouTube account, and you can watch it at your leisure. All right, so let's talk about course requirements. You can see these course requirements on the course information tab on Blackboard. By now you all know this is a Blackboard enhanced course. I like that. I can do teaching online. I don't have to waste time with certain things in class, and that's nice. Some of you will protest, but that's okay. This is a digital world now, and you need to be familiar with it. And you need to do some of these things as a teacher yourself. Think about how you can flip your classroom, flip your teaching, do the teaching, the lecture, whatever at home. Kids can watch it at home, and then you can do application while you're in your classroom. I like that. So anyway, enough of that. Let's get into the course requirements. By the way, I want you to show, I'm wearing my goofy t-shirt that my daughter got me when she was in Disney World. So, with a real father. She was thinking of me. I like that. I'm her stepdad. Enough of that. Let's go into the course requirements. First, double entry journals. We will talk about those the very first night of class, and we may or may not get to looking at exemplars and grading those exemplars. These will be worth 15%. We'll probably have 4 or 5 of these at the most. The double entry journals are on a template that you can download on the assignments week 1. We will do an annotation of Beyond the Yellow Highlighter, which is an article written about annotating. So you're going to be annotating an article on annotating. So the double entry journals will be worth 15%. Second, we will be creating tactual materials. You will have to create 2 tactual / kinesthetic materials. Now, you can do 1 tactual, 1 kinesthetic. You can do 2 kinesthetics. Most people do 2 tactuals. No one has done a kinesthetic activity yet, which would be like a floor game or an activity where kids move around as they're reviewing or learning new material. So we will have a tactual materials workshop on the 3rd class. We will have a special guest, an expert in learning styles, to help us do that. So we will actually have a workshop where we will learn to create some tactual materials, not all, but some. And we will do that on the 3rd class. That will be worth 15%. A contract activity package is like a mini unit plan. I used to have you develop a unit plan as your major performance activity in this course. But I decided to do a contract activity package because it's very similar to a unit plan, and it's a method of differentiating. So you can use a contract activity package to differentiate content, product, and process. So it just came to me one day that, hey, this is a great thing. Contracts initiated with the gifted and talented to give gifted and talented kids a way to opt out of certain requirements and to go in a direction of their choosing for other objectives that they haven't mastered yet. So that's worth 20%. So you can see this is a major project. It's worth 20% of your grade. So it's something that we will be spending a good deal of time developing. I'm also hoping to develop a wiki. A wiki is someplace you can download your work in progress and that others can look at it and give you feedback, including me. What a great idea, but Blackboard, some Blackboards have wikis that you can use. I haven't yet found a wiki on our Blackboard system, so I'm going to be asking about that this semester. And if not, then we'll have to figure out another way for you to do your contract activity package in sections so you can get feedback on them. And because my goal is for everyone to get an A+. And that is done through powerful assessment practices, performance assessment. That's what the CAP is. That's what the tactile materials are. That's what the double entry journal is. All those are performance type assessments where they're graded using a rubric, where you get feedback each time you do one in order to get better at it. So I'm hoping I can do that with the CAP, because typically what happens is people have never done a CAP before and they hand in a very lower quality product because they haven't gotten feedback. You all have your priorities, so you're all going to wait till the last minute to do this, and then you hand it in and it's like, wow, your objectives aren't good. You don't have a good assessment that matches up with each objective, et cetera, et cetera. We'll talk about that as we go through the course. So hopefully I'll be able to do that. All right, what else? This is something I've done the last 3 or 4 semesters that I think is very powerful. People who have gone to interviews have said, geez, thanks, Dr. Tom. They asked these questions, or they asked 5 out of the 7 of them. And so as a do now activity for 7 of our 12 classes, you will have an interview question. So it will be up there on the board. Hopefully I'll have a smart board. I like those because I don't really know how to use them yet, but I'm learning, and I'm hoping to show you, model how to use a whiteboard as I teach this course. So I'm fortunate. I know in room 607 there is a whiteboard, and if I'm in that classroom, then we will have one, and I will get to play with it during the course. So anyway, interview questions will be up on the board as you come into class. You should sit down and start working on this. We'll have a short think, pair, share after about a 10-minute period, and we will then talk about it. And so the first half hour of class will be spent on these interview questions. You need to take notes. You need to write down the answers, because I will be giving you the answers each week. Unfortunately, some people don't write them, and they submit very poor product at the end. So this is for your benefit. These interview questions are for your benefit. If it's a good school, they will ask you these questions, and the better you answer, the better opportunity you have to get that job. So anyway, that's worth 15%. We will have discussion boards. They usually are bi-weekly, or they're open for 2 weeks. We'll usually start the discussion in class, and it will continue on Blackboard. And there's a rubric for that. You have to make 6 posts on 3 different days. So you have 2 weeks to make 6 postings, and on a minimum of 3 days. So I will talk more about the rubric for that a little later. Quizzes and tests. We will have 4 or 5 quizzes during the semester that you take on Blackboard. What's good about it is that you get 2 opportunities to take them. So that's using tests in a formative way. So you will look at the ones you got wrong and go and find the answers to them. So you're learning from the quiz, which I think is very neat and very powerful. So I expect everyone to get 100 on their quizzes. Attendance is another thing which you should not do as a classroom teacher. You should not figure attendance into your grading system. And this is the only time that I model something that I don't want you to use. But as far as graduate school goes, I don't have the resources that you have in your school to have a meeting with the parents, to have a meeting with the guidance counselor or have the assistant principal step in and say, okay, what's going on? Have a social worker go visit the home, et cetera, et cetera. So there are all kinds of other resources that you have as a teacher to deal with attendance rather than to factor it into your grade. The same with classroom participation. You shouldn't figure that into your grade. And and we'll talk about this at the end of the last couple of classes. And so this is a little foreshadowing of, oh, I need to, this kid works so hard, but he just doesn't get it, and I want him to get his grade to reflect that. Well, that's not what grades should reflect. Or grades should reflect achievement, and that's what parents expect. So if a student gets a 75, but really hasn't mastered anything, but you've given him extra credit for various things, including class participation, he tries hard, you're fooling the parents. They think the student has at least mastered 75% of the material, a C is passing, et cetera, and now you're moving that student along and who knows nothing, and that's not right. I want to take the last couple of minutes. I only have 15 minutes on my 603 YouTube account, so let me just quickly talk about due dates, double entry journals. Those are usually due at the end of each week. You upload them to Blackboard. There will be a place to do that. I do not penalize for late work, so actually you can hand them in anytime. You just won't get timely feedback if you decide to hand them all in at the end of class, at the end of the course. The tactile materials, we're going to determine when those are due. It's usually the 7th or 8th class that those are due. So we will determine that during the class. The contract activity package is due on the next to the last class. Again, you can hand it in on the last class. You don't get penalized for it, but again, you won't get an opportunity to fix some things that may be wrong with it. The discussion boards are the only thing where you have to do them within the time limit. There is a due date, so because they close. There's no sense having a discussion weeks after we've already gone over that material. So those are time sensitive. Once they close, you'll have had to have made your 6 postings, minimum of 6. I encourage you to do more on 3 separate days. And the quizzes, again, there's no deadline for those, though you can do those on Blackboard at any time during the semester, and you have 2 opportunities to do them. So that's, I would recommend you do them right after we've covered the material so it's fresh in your mind. So that's it for expectations and deadlines. I hope this was informative, and we'll talk, if you have some questions, we'll talk about it in class, or you can use my question FAQ place on the discussion boards.